This video is about she was his lover, but his family wanted him dead for it. If this story captivates you, please like the video, share it with loved ones, and write in the comments how it touched your heart. The moon hung low in the velvety sky, casting a silvery glow over the dense forest that surrounded the Eldritch Pack's territory. Each tree whispered secrets of ancient times, their gnarled branches reaching out like skeletal fingers. Beneath the luminous orb, two figures moved stealthily through the underbrush, driven not only by instinct but by the ache of longing. Alina was an omega, small and delicate, with long chestnut hair that glinted in the moonlight. Her heart raced as she darted from shadow to shadow, acutely aware of the danger that lurked nearby. She felt the pull of destiny in her chest, a tether connecting her to the dark, formidable presence that was Caleb, the alpha of the Eldritch Pack. "Are you sure this is safe?" Her voice trembled, laced with both fear and excitement. Caleb turned to her, his cerulean eyes sparkling with mischief and something deeper. "With you, there is no other place I'd rather be," he replied, his voice a low rumble that sent shivers down her spine. "Just trust me." Beneath his confident exterior, Caleb felt the weight of forbidden love. His lineage had been steeped in tradition, and alpha must choose a prestigious mate, one who could strengthen the pack. But Alina was an outsider, a simple omega of a rival pack. His heart rebelled against the expectations of his family, yet the fear of their wrath loomed like a dark cloud. As they crept deeper into the woods, shadows danced around them. The air pulsed with tension. Caleb could feel it in his bones. The Eldritch Pack had grown anxious, sensing his increasing attachment to Alina. "They'll never accept us," he confessed, his voice barely above a whisper. Each word was a dagger to his heart, but the truth was heavy and unavoidable. Alina's gaze fell to the ground, pain flickering in her eyes. "I know," she murmured, a quiver in her voice. "But I can't help how I feel. If love is a crime, then I am guilty." Caleb stepped closer, his warm breath mingling with the cool night air, igniting an electric connection between them. "If we could only be free," he breathed, reaching for her hand. The moment their fingers intertwined, a spark ignited, and a wave of warmth flooded through them. But the bliss was short-lived. The rustle of leaves shattered their tender moment, and Caleb's instincts kicked in. "Stay behind me," he commanded, his body coiling with tension. The hairs on his neck stood tall, a warning that danger was imminent. From the darkness emerged a figure, Evelyn, Caleb's sister. Her blonde hair glimmered like moonlight, but her icy demeanor was anything but welcoming. "What do you think you were doing, Caleb?" she snapped, eyes narrowing as they flicked toward Alina. "You know this is forbidden." Caleb's heart sank. "Evelyn, please," he pleaded. "Don't make this harder than it has to be." "Harder?" she echoed, incredulous. "You think this is about you? You're putting our entire pack at risk. If Father finds out..." "Father is too blinded by tradition," he interrupted, anger simmering just beneath the surface. "I wouldn't let him dictate who I love." Evelyn's gaze softened for a moment, but it hardened again just as quickly. "And what about the consequences? You're an alpha, Caleb. You're supposed to lead, not to..." "Not what? Follow in his footsteps, destroy what makes me happy." He took a step forward, his voice rising. "Alina is not just an omega, she is my mate." Caleb's admission hung in the air, a truth so powerful it threatened to shatter the tenuous balance of the world. Alina's breath caught, her heart racing at the revelation, but the flicker of hope was quickly doused by fear. "Mate?" Evelyn's expression shifted from anger to disbelief. "You can't be serious, you'll ruin everything." Alina's voice broke through the tension, soft yet firm. "I'd never want to come between you and your family, Caleb. Maybe it's best if..." "Don't say it." Caleb interrupted, his voice cracking. "You are not a burden to me, you are my heart." But the shadows grew heavier, the weight of Caleb's obligations threatening to crush their fragile bond. Evelyn's face hardened, realizing the lengths she might need to go to protect her family. "You leave me no choice," she warned, her voice low and dangerous. "You're either with the pack or against it." With that, she turned and vanished into the night, leaving Caleb and Alina alone with their tumultuous emotions. The woods fell silent, but the storm inside them raged on. "Caleb," Alina whispered, her eyes glistening with unshed tears. "What if she is right? What if this love is what destroys you?" He cupped her face with trembling hands, his thumb brushing against her cheek. "I'll fight for us, no matter the cost. I can't imagine a life without you," he vowed, his voice raw with emotion. As they stood there, the moon shone brightly overhead, illuminating their connection, a bond that felt both ethereal and earth-shattering. But the shadows of betrayal and misfortune loomed, threatening to tear them apart. Days turned into weeks, and the tension within the Eldritch Pack escalated. Caleb found himself caught in a web of loyalty and love, struggling to navigate the treacherous waters that lay ahead. Alina became his solace, their secret rendezvous in the woods pulling them closer together, even as the pack grew restless. "Do you think we can ever be free?" Alina asked one night as they lay on a bed of fallen leaves, their fingers laced together beneath the stars. Caleb turned onto his side, propping himself up on one elbow. "I believe in us. I believe that love can conquer all," he whispered, determination igniting in his chest. But deep down, a nagging doubt lingered, a fear that his family's expectations would eventually lead to tragedy. The following moonlit night, Caleb felt a shift in the air. He could sense his pack's anxiety, the whispers of discontent growing louder. He could no longer ignore the threat that hung over them like a storm cloud. He needed to confront his father. "Father, we need to talk," Caleb said, standing tall before the imposing figure of his father, Alpha Donovan. The elder wolf's eyes were cold, reflecting years of tradition and power. "What is it, son?" Donovan replied, his voice low and commanding. "I can marry a she-wolf from a rival pack," Caleb said, steeling himself for the battle ahead. "I've fallen in love with Alina." The silence that followed felt like a crushing weight. Donovan's expression darkened, and his eyes narrowed. "You dare bring shame upon our family? She is an Omega, Caleb, an outsider. She is my mate. You taught me that mates are sacred." Caleb's heart pounded in his chest. "I won't let you dictate my life anymore." Donovan's wrath ignited, a feral growl escaping his throat. "You will obey. I will not have our pack weakened by your foolishness. You will end this before it is too late." Caleb's resolve hardened, a fire igniting within him. "I will not choose between love and family. If you want to cast me out for this, then so be it." In that moment, the tension between father and son reached a breaking point. Caleb could see the betrayal in Donovan's eyes, a flicker of rage that sent chills down his spine. "I will protect this pack at all costs. If you think I want to deal with this, you are mistaken," Donovan warned, his tone icy. "Consider this your final chance." As Caleb stormed out, the weight of the confrontation weighed heavily on his shoulders. He sought solace in the woods, where the moon shone brightly, illuminating his path. He would find a way to protect Alina, no matter the cost, even if it meant defying his own blood. Later that night, he found her sitting beneath an ancient oak tree, her eyes reflecting the moonlight. "You look troubled," she said softly, standing as he approached. "I confronted my father," Caleb admitted, his voice strained. "He won't accept us and is willing to do whatever it takes to protect the pack, even if it means destroying me." Alina's heart ached for him, for the burden he carried. "Caleb, we can find a way. We can leave this place and start anew." "I can ask you to give up everything," he said, his eyes searching hers for understanding. "I want to let you suffer for my choices." She stepped closer, her heart racing. "I am not afraid of the future, Caleb. I am afraid of losing you." Their faces were mere inches apart, the air thick with unspoken emotions. In that charged silence, they leaned into one another, their lips brushing softly before igniting into a passionate kiss. Each touch was a promise, a shared hope that transcended the chaos of their world. But the woods around them held secrets, shadows stirring with intent. The whispers of Caleb's family echoed like a haunting melody, and the path ahead was fraught. The air was thick with tension as Caleb and Alina pulled away from their kiss, breathless and wide-eyed. The moon's glow felt like a spotlight on their tangled emotions, illuminating the chasm between their desires and the harsh reality that surrounded them. "I wish we could just disappear," Alina said, her voice barely above a whisper, laced with both yearning and despair. "Just you and me, away from all this." Caleb clenched his fists, the weight of her words settling on his heart like lead. "You deserve a life free from fear, not this shadowy existence," he replied softly, his cerulean eyes darkening with worry. "But I can bear the thought of losing you, Alina. You are everything to me." She stepped back, her heart heavy with a mix of longing and sorrow. "And you are everything to me. But what if your father's threats are more than just words? What if he truly means to take action?" His jaw tightened, frustration boiling beneath the surface. "I want to let him control our fate. We'll find a way. We have to believe in something greater than ourselves." He paused, his voice dropping to a fierce whisper. "We have each other. That is our destiny." Alina's heart fluttered at his resolve, yet doubt gnawed at the edges of her hope. "But at what cost?" she murmured, glancing toward the shadowy depths of the forest. "I can stand the idea of you being hurt because of me." Caleb stepped closer, grounding her with his presence. "You are not a burden, Alina. You are my mate, and I will fight for you. I promise I won't let them take you from me." As night deepened and the stars twinkled like scattered diamonds, they clung to that promise. But the darkness around them held more than just the beauty of the night. It was a harbinger of the trials they were about to face. Days passed, and Caleb's tension grew with each passing moment. The Eldridge pack was restless, and whispers of rebellion filled the air. He could sense the discontent among his fellow wolves, sensing the loyalty to his family clashing with their growing concern for his well-being. One night, as Caleb returned to the pack's den, he found Evelyn waiting, her arms crossed and her expression a storm of conflicted emotions. "You need to stop this madness, Caleb," she demanded, her voice low but urgent. "I want to abandon her, Evelyn," he replied, his tone steady. "Elena is my mate. I want to let your father's traditions dictate my happiness." "Do you even hear yourself?" she shot back, incredulous. "You're risking everything, your life, your position. You think this will end well, you're a fool." Caleb's eyes hardened, the familiar anger bubbling just beneath the surface. "I'd rather be a fool in love than a puppet under our father's rule. He doesn't understand what it means to choose from the heart." Evelyn's expression softened, her voice dropping to a whisper. "Do you really think life with her will be easy? They'll never accept you, Caleb. You'll be an outcast, a pariah. If it means being with her, then so be it," he declared, every word a declaration of war against the expectations that had been thrust upon him. "I will carve my own path, and I will not let fear dictate my choices." But even as he spoke, doubt crept into his heart. The wolf within him yearned for unity and peace, yet the call of love drowned out all else. He turned away, storming into the night, desperate for solace in the woods where Elena waited. "Caleb," she called softly as he approached the familiar clearing. The sight of her illuminated by the moonlight made his heart race. "What is wrong?" "Everything," he admitted, exhaling sharply, his frustration spilling over. "My sister thinks I am throwing my life away. She doesn't understand." Elena stepped closer, concern etching her delicate features. "You don't have to shoulder this alone. You can talk to me about anything." His heart ached at her unwavering support. "I feel like I am caught in a storm, and it is only getting worse. They want to stop until they force me to choose. I want to abandon you, but I can't bear the thought of what might happen." Elena reached for his hand, their fingers lacing together. "You're stronger than you think, Caleb. We'll figure this out together. You're not alone in this fight." As they locked eyes, the connection between them shimmered with an undeniable magic, a bond forged in the fires of passion and pain. "Promise me you won't give up," he said, his voice trembling with emotion. "Promise me that we'll fight for what we have." "I promise," she whispered, her eyes shimmering with determination. "Whatever it takes, we'll fight together." But fate had other plans. The following day, a chilling message arrived, a formal challenge from Caleb's father. Donovan had summoned the pack for a meeting, and the stakes were clear. Caleb was to choose between his love for Elena and his allegiance to the Eldridge pack. As he stood before the gathered wolves, the air was thick with tension. Donovan's presence was commanding, his voice a low growl that reverberated through the clearing. "You've brought disgrace upon our family, Caleb. You will either renounce this mating bond or face the consequences." Caleb's heart raced, his body coiled with defiance. "I want to deny my love for her," he shouted, his voice echoing through the clearing. "Elena is my mate, and I refuse to abandon her." The gasps from the pack were palpable. Evelyn stepped forward, desperation etched on her face. "Caleb, please think of the pack. Think of what this will mean for us all." "I am thinking of love," he retorted, the heat of his emotions igniting a fire within him. "This isn't just about tradition, but it's about my happiness. It is about the future I want." Donovan's eyes darkened, fury radiating from him like an electric storm. "Then you leave me no choice. If you choose her, you will be cast out. You will no longer be my son, nor will you have a place in this pack. Is that what you want?" Caleb's heart sank, but he stood firm, unwavering in his resolve. "If my love means losing my family, then so be it. I will never regret choosing Elena." The silence that followed was deafening, the weight of his declaration hanging in the air. But before Donovan could respond, the pack's sentiment shifted. A murmur spread through the crowd like wildfire, casting doubt and fear among the wolves. "Caleb, you can't do this?" Evelyn pleaded, her voice breaking. "You'll lose everything we've built." "I'd rather lose everything than lose her," he spat, his heart pounding with fierce determination. "If that makes me a traitor, then so be it." And just like that, the storm erupted. An uproar filled the clearing as Caleb's defiance shattered the delicate balance of their world. The wolves roared their discontent, a cacophony of voices rising in chaos. But in that moment of turmoil, Caleb felt a surge of strength. He caught a glimpse of Alina standing at the edge of the clearing, her eyes brimming with pride and love. She believed in him even when the world turned against him. "Caleb," she shouted, her voice cutting through the noise. "Remember what we promised." His heart swelled with renewed vigor at her words. "I will fight for us, no matter the cost," he bellowed, his voice rising above the clamor. Donovan's expression twisted in rage and disbelief. "You will regret this," he warned, his voice a low growl. "I will not allow you to destroy our legacy." As Caleb faced his father, the air crackled with tension. He felt the weight of the pack's expectations, the burden of his choices pressing down on him. But he also felt something deeper, fierce love that burned brightly amidst the darkness. "I want you back down," he declared, his heart pounding in his chest. "I will protect Alina, and I will forge my own path. This is our destiny." Alina's voice resonated within him, a beacon of hope and strength. The path ahead was fraught with challenges, betrayals, and heartbreak, but their love would be the fire that guided them through the storm. As the howls of dissent echoed around them, Caleb knew that he was ready to face whatever came next. Their love would be tested, but he would fight for it with every ounce of his being. Together, they would carve a new destiny, one where love conquered all. Caleb's heart thundered in his chest as the echo of his proclamation faded into the chaos around them. The Eldridge pack, once his family, now felt like a horde of strangers ready to turn on him. The disbelief and anger in their eyes stung like arrows, but he held his ground, the love for Alina igniting a flame within him. "Caleb, please!" Evelyn's voice broke through the tumult, her expression a mixture of desperation and anger. "You re-jeopardizing everything we've worked for, you re-making a fool of yourself. You can't really think this is worth it." A surge of frustration bubbled inside him, and he clenched his fists. "You don't understand, Evelyn, this isn't just about me being an alpha of the pack, it's about love." His voice was raw, the weight of his emotions spilling out. "Alina is my mate, my heart. I want to let tradition dictate my happiness. You re choosing a rival Omega over your own family." She threw her arms up in exasperation. "What do you think the pack will do if you turn your back on them? They'll be forced to choose sides." The fear in her eyes made something twist painfully in his gut, but he refused to back down. "This isn't just a choice for me, it's for all of us. We can keep living under the burden of outdated traditions. Love should be our guiding force, not fear." The murmurs among the pack intensified, voices rising in a chorus of dissent. "He is a traitor, but we should banish him. What will our father think?" Caleb's gaze darted to Alina, who stood resolute at the edge of the clearing, her faith in him palpable. The sight of her ignited a fierce protectiveness within him. "I want to let you take her away from me," he shouted, his voice quaking with emotion. But Donovan, his father, stepped forward, eyes cold and calculating. "If you think love conquers all, you are mistaken, son. You are playing with fire. I will not allow this pack to be weakened by your folly." "Then cast me out." Caleb snapped, fists trembling at his sides. "If that is what it takes to be with Alina, then I'll gladly walk away." Tension erupted into a cacophony of howls and angry shouts. Caleb could feel the weight of his decision pressing down on him, but he stood tall, refusing to yield. In that moment, Caleb knew he had only one choice: to stand by Alina and face whatever storm lay ahead. He'd rather be an outcast with her than a prince in a gilded cage. As the chaos continued to unfold around him, Alina stepped forward, her voice calm yet strong. "Everyone, please listen." The pack fell silent, the fury in their eyes shifting toward her. "This isn't just about Caleb and me. It is about love, something we shouldn't fear but embrace." Caleb felt a rush of pride at her bravery, and he reached for her hand, their fingers intertwining effortlessly. "She is right," he added, his voice steady. "Love is what unites us, not tradition. We can forge a new path together." But Donovan's face hardened, and he raised a hand, silencing the crowd. "You think you can change traditions that have stood for centuries? Caleb, love doesn't erase the consequences of your choices. You'll betray your own blood if you persist." Caleb's heart ached at the thought, but he shook his head fiercely. "I am not betraying anyone. I am choosing to stand up for what is right. Love should be celebrated, not punished." With that, Donovan's eyes narrowed, the rage simmering just beneath the surface. "If you choose hurt, you choose isolation. You will be cast out, and you will have no place in this pack or in my heart. Is that your final answer?" The silence was deafening, and Caleb felt his breath hitch in his throat. A part of him trembled at the thought of losing his family, but the image of Alina, strong and defiant, filled him with resolve. "Yes," he declared, his voice unwavering. "That is my final answer." pack erupted in howls, a mixture of shock and anger boiling over as Donovan's face twisted in fury. "Then you leave me no choice," he growled, his voice like thunder. "You are no longer my son. You are no longer part of the Eldritch pack." Caleb's heart shattered, but he clung to his resolve, his gaze locked onto Alina's. She stepped closer, her eyes shimmering with unshed tears. "We'll all find a way, Caleb. We'll all make this work." Together, he replied, the intensity of their bond radiating between them, a warmth against the coldness of the pack's rejection. As Caleb turned to leave, the shouts of betrayal echoed around him, but he felt strangely liberated. The moment he stepped outside the pack's territory, it was as if a weight had been lifted from his shoulders. He was free, but the cost had been steep. The woods were familiar yet foreign, the shadows whispering tales of heartache and hope. He and Alina walked hand in hand, navigating the labyrinth of trees, where the moonlight filtered through the leaves, illuminating their shared path. "Where will we go?" Alina asked, her voice barely above a whisper, the uncertainty palpable. "We'll all find a place where we can start fresh," Caleb promised, squeezing her hand tightly. "A place where we can be together without fear, but first, we need to gather allies. We can't face this alone." Alina nodded, her determination shining through. "We'll all build our own family. We'll all create a new pack, one that embraces love above all else." Days passed as they traveled through the woods, seeking refuge in secluded caves and hidden glades, the bond between them growing stronger with each moment. They whispered dreams of a future together, their laughter mingling with the rustling leaves, but the shadows of their past loomed ever closer. Then, one fateful night, as they huddled together beneath the stars, a piercing howl shattered the tranquility. Caleb's heart raced as he recognized the call his family was searching for him, led by Donovan's unyielding desire to reclaim his son. "We should hide," Alina urged, fear etching deep lines across her delicate features. "No," Caleb said, determination flooding his veins. "I want to run from them anymore. I'll face my father, and this time I'll do it for us." Alina's eyes widened in disbelief. "But they'll all come for you. They won't give up without a fight." "I know," he replied, his voice steady. "But we've come too far to back down now. We'll all show them that love is stronger than tradition." As dawn broke over the horizon, painting the sky in hues of fiery orange and pink, Caleb felt an unwavering courage surging within him. He led Alina back toward the clearing, the place where everything had begun, where love had been forged in the fires of adversity. Expecting his family to arrive any moment, Caleb took a deep breath, steeling himself for the confrontation. He could feel the tension in the air, the anticipation crackling like lightning. And then there appeared Donovan, flanked by Evelyn and several loyal pack members. The weight of their disapproval hung heavy in the air, but Caleb stood firm, his heart racing. "Caleb," Donovan's voice boomed, a low growl underlining each word. "You were given a chance to return. You chose to defy me, to defy your family." "I chose to follow my heart," Caleb replied, his voice unwavering. "And I won't let you tear me apart for it. I won't let you take Alina from me. Your heart will bring ruin upon us all." Donovan snapped back, his eyes dark and foreboding. "You think this is love? It's a fool's errand, and I will not allow it to happen on my watch." Evelyn stepped forward, her expression torn. "Caleb, please, we can work this out. There is no need for this to become a battle." "No," he said firmly, turning to look at her, determination radiating from him. "You don't understand. This isn't just a challenge to your authority. This is my life. I want to stand by and watch as everything I love is threatened." Alina squeezed his hand, and together they faced the pack, their bond an unbreakable shield against the impending storm. "Then you will pay the price," Donovan warned, his voice low and menacing, the pack behind him bristling with tension. As the air thickened with anticipation, Caleb felt the mist of magic swelling around him, a force that seemed to pulse with the very essence of their love. "I accept whatever fate awaits me," he declared, his voice steady. "But I will fight for Alina, for our love, and for the future we deserve." What can love promise when faced with the weight of tradition? Donovan snarled, his expression twisted with fury. "This is a fight you cannot win." "Watch me," Caleb replied, the fire in his heart igniting a fierce determination. In that moment, something shifted within the pack, the air crackling with uncertainty. Whispers spread among the gathered wolves, their loyalties wafted. The tension in the clearing was palpable, a living entity that wrapped around Caleb like a cloak. The sharp scent of pine mingled with the electric anticipation in the air as Donovan glared at his son. Silence hung heavy between them, thick as fog, stretching seconds into eternity. "Do you really think you can win this fight?" Donovan's voice was laced with contempt, echoing through the trees. Werewolf Caleb, a romantic idealist chasing a dream that will only lead to destruction. Caleb squared his shoulders, the heat of defiance coursing through him. I am not chasing a dream, father. I am pursuing my destiny. Alina is my mate, and I won't let you or anyone else take her from me. His voice rang with conviction, and he felt the warmth of Alina's hand in his, grounding him. Alina stepped forward, her eyes fierce and unwavering. We deserve the chance to forge our own path. Love should never be a reason for rejection, but rather a reason for unity. The murmur among the pack grew louder, the tension shifting. Caleb could feel their uncertainty, their eyes flicking between him and Donovan, weighing their loyalty against love. Some looked at Alina with curiosity, while others with disdain. But the bond they shared was a force of nature, unyielding and powerful. Your love will bring chaos to our pack, Donovan sneered, his voice low and dangerous. You think you can change centuries of tradition with the flutter of your heart? It takes more than love to lead. What does it take, then? Caleb countered, his fist trembling with the urge to let the wolf within him surface. Fear, anger, hatred, is that what you want us to live by? Caleb, please, Evelyn intervened, her voice tinged with desperation. You're not just risking your life, you're dragging the pack into this mess with you. If you refuse to back down, the consequences will be dire. You don't understand, he snapped, the frustration boiling over. This isn't about rebellion for the sake of rebellion. It is about love that transcends these archaic walls you've built around us. Donovan's expression hardened, the depths of his disappointment cutting deeper than any blade. You'll regret this moment, son. You've chosen a rival over your family, and I will not allow that betrayal to go unpunished. With that declaration, Donovan lifted his head, letting out a commanding howl that sent a chill down Caleb's spine. It was a call to arms, a summons for the Eldritch Pack to converge around their alpha. The forest erupted in howls, powerful and haunting, resonating through the very fabric of the night. Caleb's heart raced, his instinct screaming at him to prepare for what was to come. We can let this happen, he shouted, desperation lacing his voice. We're stronger together, not divided by old grudges. Fight with us, not against us. But the pack's loyalty was bound to Donovan, and he felt the weight of their eyes, the judgment seeping into his bones. Whispers began to swell among the wolves, uncertainty creeping into their hearts. Fear battled with love, and Caleb could sense that the tide was shifting if only he could sway them fully. In the midst of the chaos, he turned to Alina, her presence like a beacon of light piercing through the darkness. We can give up, he urged, his voice low and fervent. You read my heart, and I will do anything to protect you. Alina's eyes were wide, filled with fear and determination. I want to let them take you from me, Caleb. We fight together, side by side. I believe in us. Their fingers intertwined, and in that moment, the mystical bond between them glowed like a soft ember, illuminating the shadows threatening to engulf them. Caleb felt the warmth surge through him, a reminder of the strength they shared. But just then, a figure emerged from the shadows, a dark silhouette that sent tremors through Caleb's body. It was Marcus, the most loyal of Donovan's enforcers, his eyes glinting with malice. You've made a grave mistake, Caleb, he taunted, stepping forward. Your father is not one to be trifled with. Caleb stood tall, refusing to show fear. We were not afraid of you or your threats. You are the ones who should be afraid of the love that binds us, that will not be broken. Marcus laughed, a harsh and mocking sound that echoed through the clearing. Love? You think love will protect you when the claws come out? You are nothing without your pack, and you will soon learn that. Before Caleb could respond, Marcus lunged, teeth bared and claws extended. Caleb's instincts fled, the wolf within him roaring to life. He shifted, muscles rippling beneath his skin as he transformed, embracing the primal force that surged through him. The battle that erupted was chaotic, a whirlwind of fur and fangs. Caleb fought fiercely, defensive yet determined to protect Alina. Each clash resonated with the depth of his feelings, and though he was outnumbered, the bond between him and Alina fueled his resolve. Caleb, Alina cried, her voice rising above the din, filled with terror and desperation. Be careful, we can't lose you. Evelyn, torn between duty and familial love, watched the chaos unfold with a heavy heart. She wanted to intervene, to save her brother from the clutches of their father's wrath, but she felt the weight of the pack's expectations bearing down on her. Enough. Donovan bellowed, his voice cutting through the noise like a knife. Stop this madness. If you continue to fight, you will not only lose each other, but also everything you hold dear. Caleb's heart hammered in his chest as he momentarily paused, panting heavily. This isn't just about me, it is about the future of our pack, about love and unity over fear and hatred. Donovan's eyes darkened, his wolf staring down at Caleb. You think you can change the nature of our world with your naive dreams. You are a fool, and in your foolishness, you will sow the seeds of your own destruction. The air crackled with tension as the wolves circled, watching the confrontation unfold like a gripping tale. Each breath felt like a countdown, and Caleb's heart raced with the weight of every decision he made. "Father," he said, his voice steady despite the chaos, "if you want to cast me out, so be it, but I will not abandon Alina. I will not let your fear dictate my life any longer." With those words, Donovan's fury ignited. "Then so be it. You are no longer my son. You will be banished from this pack for your insolence." The declaration struck Caleb like a thunderbolt. He staggered backward, the finality of his father's words crashing into him like a wave. "You can be serious," he breathed, the pain of rejection clawing at his soul. "Watch me," Donovan growled, his eyes narrowing with contempt as he turned his back on Caleb, signaling for the pack to follow him. The air was thick with confusion and betrayal as the wolves began to move, but Caleb stood firm, the pulse of destiny thrumming in his veins. "You can take my title, my place in the pack, but you cannot take my heart," he declared, his voice steady and unyielding. And in that moment the pack hesitated, glancing between Donovan and Caleb, caught in a whirlwind of loyalty and love. The darkness that had shrouded their hearts began to lift, revealing the flicker of hope that Caleb had fought for. Evelyn stepped forward, her eyes filled with tears as she faced her brother. "You are my brother, Caleb. I don't want to lose you," she admitted, her voice trembling with emotion. "But I can't forsake my duties either." "Then stand with me," he urged, his heart aching at her conflict. "Help me show them that love is worth fighting for. Together, we can change this pack." The silence that followed was deafening, each wolf wrestling with their emotions. But then, Alina stepped forward, her voice unwavering as she addressed the pack. "We can create a new legacy, one that is rooted in love and acceptance, rather than fear and division. You can choose to stand with us." Caleb could see the uncertainty in their eyes, the flicker of hope beginning to spark. He reached for Alina's hand, their fingers entwined, their hearts beating as one. "We can do this together," he said, his voice filled with conviction. "But we need you, each and every one of you." As the pack murmured, weighing their options, Donovan's expression twisted with rage. "You dare challenge my authority? You are all fools if you think you can follow this path." But Caleb stood tall, the fire of determination blazing in his chest. "We are not blinded by fear any longer. We are choosing love, and we will create a future where nobody has to hide who they truly are." Slowly, one by one, some wolves began to step forward, breaking the barriers of loyalty they had to Donovan. They looked at Caleb, then at Alina, their expressions shifting from fear to curiosity. Together, Caleb encouraged, a swell of hope igniting within him.